According to Looking at Movies, at the broadest conceptual level, a narrative is a cinematic structure in which the filmmakers have selected and arranged events in a cause and effect sequence occurring over time. Many cinematic elements contribute to a narration, such as camera positioning, lighting, setting, characterization, and cast performances.
I'll do it. I guess I have nothing else to lose anyway.
The narrative is composed through a combination of diegetic and non-diegetic elements. A diegesis can be defined as the world within a story, including the events, objects, settings, characters, and sounds. On the other hand, non-diegetic elements are those that we can see or hear in the film that do not originate from the world of the story, for example, the score of the film. Both forms create a larger narrative and evoke a greater meaning to the audience. Bartholomew's Song is an example of a short film that is comprised of almost all diegetic elements. Only a budget of $2,500, the co-directors tell the story of a strict dystopian society. The motion picture uses diegetic elements such as color, lighting, cinematography, and sound. On the other hand, Bartholomew's Song does not contain non-diegetic elements outside of the story, such as a score. Color is one of the primary ways Bartholomew's Song exemplifies diegetic elements. Throughout the short film, the primary colors are fluorescent greens and whites. These stark colors contribute to the themes of institutionalization and sterility in their boring, controlled world. The unnatural lighting creates an ambiance that makes the environment seem artificial. In contrast to the green, the color red occasionally appears on the screen. We only encounter this color when we see the lights on the music box, and after Bartholomew stabs the woman, we see her saturated red blood. The redness of the music box and blood represents Bartholomew's victory and freedom over the system of their controlled society. It also reflects his rebellion from conformity. Frank and Cretin chose not to incorporate non-diegetic elements in Bartholomew's Song. These elements are typically incorporated in a film and are often taken for granted. Without a score, the silence forces the audience to focus on the stiff nature of their dystopian environment and allows us to catch on to the consistent patterns. When the silence is broken by the music box, the patterns within the quiet movie are interrupted. Controlled silence and the freedom and empowerment of the music box and the song. In contrast, Death to the Tin Man uses several non-diegetic elements that create an additional layer to the meaning of the short film. The 26-year-old director, Ray Tintori, used non-diegetic elements to help the audience understand the characters and the environment. Modeling his storyline after the original Wizard of Oz, Tintori wanted his film to take on a different twist with a different underlying message. He said, "I wasn't terribly interested in trying to recreate Oz from the 1930s. I just sort of wanted to deal with this world of evangelical mysticism." Tintori replaced all of the witches and monkeys from the original Wizard of Oz with elements of evangelism, such as pastors, congregations, and the rapture. Death to the Tin Man uses non-diegetic elements to communicate character emotions and draw in the audience.
But the pastor had asked for a miracle. And a miracle did occur. For God had put a curse on Bill's axe.
Told from a third-person narrator, the viewers interpret the story from an outside perspective while still being able to connect to the characters, feelings, and actions. In addition, because we as viewers identify with the perspective of the camera, the implied point of view that is conveyed through the camera is bound to add a complex feature to the film's narration. The third-person narrator has the capability of providing information that may not always be accessible to the other participants in the story. Because the perspectives in Death to the Tin Man are limited to the third-person narrator, the score always plays a vital role as a non-diegetic element. The score enables the audience to understand the character's emotions or the mood of a setting. Overall, both short films are very different in composition, which is largely in part to their contradictory uses of diegetic and non-diegetic elements. Whether the directors use elements of form such as fluorescent lighting or grainy black and white, or still shots versus moving camera, Both Bartholomew's Song and Death to the Tin Man seek to achieve similar content goals. They use different forms of diegesis to reflect the tales of outsiders against conformity within dystopian, oppressed societies.